You have it.
Yeah, you're good.
You good?
You're good.
All right.
He doesn't need assistance.
Out onto the island, take a nice little boat ride. Say something, Bob? Something I did, Bob?
Are we all set?
Yeah, we're set.
All right. Welcome everybody to the November 8th Fisp meeting. Everyone's present except Jay Dugan and Caitlin and Raj. Raj was here, we had to leave for planning board. All right. Minutes October 11th, 2017.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. All right, police station, OPM report, schedule, budget updates, Tony, you're on.
Excellent. The project is largely complete. The police have been moving in over the past couple of days. Design team is finishing up review of operation and maintenance manuals, O&Ms as we call them, as-built, scheduling training for mechanical and electrical systems, and reviewing final punch list items and closeout materials. We completed the project with 33 PCOs so far, totaling $160,015. You'll see that a little bit further in the packet. Minor punch list items are still being addressed and will continue for probably the next couple of weeks by RAC builders. They're doing a good job working through probably 90% of the punch list with few minor items. Nothing that's affecting the overall operation of the current operation of the building. We have our final Department of Public Health inspection scheduled for Friday morning at 8 o'clock.
For the cells, right?
For the cells. Chief needed to have somebody on hand that can actually run the cell check, print out so that they see the computer system is all working. So we'll do that for them Friday morning, and that will close out the inspections on the cells.
And they did officially open today. They officially moved there today.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know that was the official date.
Yeah, they were there today. They are in that
So the
station.
car park up there now.
They're using that station as of today. Phone number stayed the same, so nothing changed in regards to that. So they said you could use those ones.
Excellent. So the end of the day, the project is completed roughly 3 months ahead of schedule, and our current budget sitting here today is a positive variance of $59,357.
Tony, does that include the fence for the property line?
It does. On the next page of the report I handed out is the police station full budget, with all my usual items addressed, highlighted in yellow. Is the final change order number 6, currently sitting with RAC and John McMillan and myself, estimated at $5,440. Most of those are items that the committee had approved previously. Relocation of the 911 battery system, running a conduit for the antenna cable up through the attic, heat trace on the roof, sprinkler head, and adding an electric door strike in the bulking area, which wasn't there, it was requested. So we're finalizing that in the next couple of weeks. The next line item below that is the off-site improvements. I've plugged $6,000 in there for trees and fence work along the property line. There's still some balance left as non-committed or future anticipated commitments that I reviewed with the chief a couple weeks ago. There's $8,300 in the furniture line item and $3,500 for miscellaneous appliances throughout the building, those types of things. There's $20,000 still left in the computer technology budget for things that they may find, printers, network type printers, those things.
I know you've told us this before, but
yes, sir.
what caused the large variance? You know, to go from 10 to 54,000 in computers. What is it that we bought that we didn't anticipate? Do you know?
Computer technology.
The original, the projected budget was 10. And then at the end of the day, it's going to be 54,000.
Yes.
For computers?
Computer and network, the line item is network and computers.
A lot of that is Lentel, isn't it?
A lot of it is,
And no, it's been said before, but I just,
There's some issues.
so it's Lantel, Acuity, Carousels. We use the same phone server, but we not bought new phone software for down there. We bought upgrades, and you'll see those invoices a little bit further in your pack. So a lot of it is network software, not necessarily hard computers, but new server technology, and I don't want to, network protection.
in the grand scheme of things, it didn't affect the budget, but do we know why the budget was 10 and it went to 54?
So the budget was 10 back because when we started this budget process, if you remember, that's what you had for money. So we were trying to allocate some money to each pot, and you didn't have enough when you had 2.9 million.
Okay.
So that's what that first column is on. Then we adjusted the budget, and we still didn't put a lot of money into that line item.
You didn't put anything?
Right. So that 10, we've just drawn out of contingency. And there's a whole list of stuff in here that Chief, Karen, Jay, tell me we needed. And you saw those proposals come in.
But looking at it, this is the 10,000 comes from the answer's right there.
Right.
The 10,000 comes from the original ridiculous budget. Okay, thanks.
But also, in regards to that, all the other ones were increased. This one just for some reason was not.
I don't think we had a good handle on how much technology was going to be needed with the fact that we were going to regionalization and what systems, backbones we were using from the existing. So we didn't have to buy some servers because it actually feeds back to the existing building. But there was a lot more rack equipment. For some reason, every one of those pieces of rack equipment was determined that it needed its own little mini UPS, even though you have generators, and we talked about how many UPSs we're buying on top of generators, on top of batteries. The place has got redundant power, so hopefully nothing ever fails. And that basically comes to the $54,000 question. Under maintenance, you see all of a sudden a new line item in there. We had nothing budgeted for maintenance equipment. Again, you'll take that out of what balance is available, or maybe we didn't want to budget anything for it. Let's wait and see what we have at the end. Now there's $2,100 in there for a snow blower. A couple of good things down towards the bottom of the budget page, project management. You're all billed out now. There's a savings to you of $1,885 in the project management line. We recast some money. There's $2,860 in overage to the clerk's time, but still within the budget overall of that contract amount. And the chief got moving costs figured in at a proposal of $5,000 versus the $10,000 we had budgeted. So when you take all the pluses and minuses, you're $59,357 to the good.
Good news.
We still probably have some things that need to be done. So.
I think there's still stuff once that, if they're in there today, over the next week, they're going to find other items that they need. And when I met with Chief last week, it's, waste baskets and dumpster barrels and those kind of things. Yeah, you've got $8,000 in available furniture, fixtures, and equipment money that you can still spend and still not tap into that $59,000.
All the shelving things that was all put into that storage room.
We're still waiting for the interrogation table, which is a special chair-table combination. Gets bolted in that room, and we're waiting for a few file cabinets up in the records. So not the evidence storage, but there's another records storage for just paper storage, and we're waiting for a couple of those cabinets to come in.
Tony, just going back quickly to computer technology, the senior center is not going to need anything near that kind of capability, correct? So
I would doubt it, right?
although later on the fire station might need some significant computer technology capability as part of this renovation. So I guess my question is, was there anybody who could have given us an earlier alert to the fact that that budget was going to really be impacted?
I guess knowing now, I would probably invite Karen, if she's the town's kind of computer consultant. I would get her involved early on. If you recall, we had some quotes from Carousel and Lantel, and by the time this committee voted and then kicked them back to her, that was her first seeing them. She did a good job in going back through those and finding some things that were duplicated, some things that she would rather not have one vendor do, but have the other vendor do. From her conversations and input became, hey, let's use the phone server we have, and if we're running fiber between here, there, and everywhere, you know, let this building talk through the phone server at the current station, you know, and then over to dispatch and Holden. So, yeah, she was vital in that process.
So we could get her involved with the senior center, even though the risk there doesn't seem to be as great of...
Yeah, I'm not sure today, you know, we're just getting into the design development, but having those conversations, you know, do the police department need to be able to see cameras? So if we put a security camera at the front entry or a duress button in the senior center, which isn't a bad idea, do you want them to have eyes in the building before they get there so they know what they're responding to?
So we can make that part of our process now.
Sure.
Good.
Tony, looking at these, I mean, obviously costs have shifted around, but based on the equipment we've purchased, particularly the software licenses, do we have any feel for what the foregoing maintenance cost for software, building, and utilities is going to be? When will we get our hands around that? I mean, we've projected a standard $9,900 in assorted maintenance for the building, but we didn't really put much, if anything, into kind of contractual maintenance items.
I would guess, not knowing, the chief probably has money for upgrades in his budget already. Upgrades of, you know, software and things like that. This is, you know, maybe some new stuff, but it may be just some.
We've given the chief some estimated amount of electrical use and fuel use.
Operating utility costs.
Based upon, I mean, it's a wild guess as how often the building's going to be occupied, who's going to be in there, how long the lights going to be all done. But within our range, we gave him some numbers that he was going to plug into his budget. Nothing for maintenance. The maintenance is depending on how you choose to maintain it.
Well, first year is $9,900 goes into the fund. Obviously, we're not using anything for the first year because they have a warranty for...
Warranty, yes.
Well, you still have operating costs.
I'm talking about, we put it at $9,900. That's not going to for me.
I think we'll raise it. Doesn't come out of that $9,900.
Yeah.
That's going to be in the chief's budget for just normal.
In the initial budgets, we had guessed some money for the elevator right now. We had guessed some monies for utilities. But when I hear there's $250,000 worth of technology items we've purchased, ballpark estimate, you're talking 10% for assorted maintenance contracts on
To
software.
your point, I don't know if taking this invoice that everybody has in their packet from Acuity, which totals $20,400, many of these line items are 1 year extended this, 1 year extended that, 12 months of this warranty, 12 months of that protection. If these need to be renewed every year, then there's some line items to deal with, or at the end of 12 months, like most people do, you just say, fine, if it didn't break now, is it cheaper just to replace the unit, or why am I buying warranty? So,
Well, I meant it like Chris said, the software and stuff like that, something that goes on every year, so it wouldn't be anything new.
Chief has some of that now, I'm sure.
I mean, most of the software
I think he's voided most of that with
I'm saying it's in his budget now for the old station. He probably had software that he was upgrading, so. I don't think it comes out of the 9,900 though.
Let's get an answer from the chief, and we'll get back to the next meeting, we'll find out.
I don't even think it's not really part of construction. So.
It's not, but, you know, looking at the operational side, we're going to be tagged on this constant. Tony's right that we've got basically a free year on almost everything, which would make sense. We have to be prepared for a potential notable increase in operating.
There's more of a question for Karen than it is for the chief.
Well,
How many of these renewable one-year warranty or network protection, they're just security, you know, we all buy a computer and we get 1 year of, you know, net virus or whatever with it. How many people re-up it at the end of the year even though they keep using the computer? I think it's probably a little more important at a police station than our home, but, you know.
I think that's all part of the operating budget that we'll look at in the future, the Board of Selectmen will look at, I think. Not the building committee at this point.
But to answer your question, if you want to look at it, this is the piece that you look at that outlines all the warranties and all the extended services that you're paying for on the network side.
Yeah, I agree with you, Chris. It's definitely part of the operating budget, but we definitely need to know.
We have to,
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying Anita has to look at that with the chief when she's developing the budget for next year or the year after.
Good text report.
Good.
As always, Tony says it all, and well, with nothing, so,
But you'll have something to say.
no, it's, okay, nobody went off very well, I thought. Hopefully you guys find a flag.
I hope this is fine.
I didn't see it.
It was on plan.
I didn't even notice.
Just so you know, on the pictures we sent you, we photoshopped the flag.
I was saying what a nice flag we have.
Everything went well, and as Tony says, we're right now chasing the contract, who's doing a good job with the closeout documents, O&Ms, and as-bills, and warranties. And we've collected quite a few of them. There's just a few more outstanding, and then we'll be 100%.
Good. Well, on behalf of the committee, I just want to thank Tony and John. They did a great job, great project, worked out very well. So thank you so much.
Do we officially own the building yet, or does?
Yes, you do.
Last week or something.
October 27th.
All right.
You have full insurance on it, and I hear it's high coverage too.
I wouldn't doubt it.
If I trip over there next week, you'll know why.
All right. Let's move on to the senior center. Tony?
So senior center is mostly in design, so I'll leave most of that for John to talk about. But we do provide a little bit of a report, only to say that he's on time, his design package is moving along, his latest budget is a success story. A couple of things that we did encounter over the last month of service out there. As I think many of you know, we encountered ledge in our test boring, so again, that's had some impact on the design team, both with drainage and foundations. The flow test that we had conducted on Prescott Street showed good flow off of the available hydrants, but not very good pressure for a fire system. That also impacts our design team. And then our design consultant from site civil side is downstairs for a 7:20 meeting with planning board to give them their first review and look at the project. So
Maybe you're going to talk about, we talked about some water issue at the subcommittee meeting that we might have to run a pipe, but it's going to could cost upwards of $200,000.
Yep. So we handed in our design development submission, which is about 25-30% drawings. We had a meeting and we reviewed them in detail with the senior center subcommittee. Nausea in detail, I would assume, right? So there's two sets in Anita's conference room. If you want to look at them, there's about 40-50 sheets of drawings and details that we've gone through so far. Represents a good, at least 30% of the project. And we have, and it takes a couple weeks when we submit the drawings for the estimator to do his estimate on that. But today we did get the estimate for those DD drawings, design development drawings, of our preliminary estimate. That's how close we are.
What was that again? Excuse me.
We are within $4,000 of the estimate we gave at schematic level. And we have now included a fire pump for the sprinkler system because the water pressure isn't sufficient to give us sufficient pressure to operate the sprinkler system. So we've included a fire pump, jockey pump, and a small generator for that. We have included the ledge, which was an unknown before. And we have included the cost to do more of that front driveway pavement area. So that's all included in that same budget number that we have. The only thing that isn't there yet, and we will, as carried as an alternate, is the portico. You know, like the portico moved into the basement of the project, and that's going to add about $50,000 to the project, less than we anticipated. But we are still running about 4.4 or so with everything rolled in, and we were hoping to be about 4.2 because there's been those few surprises that we've had. So I'm very grateful that we're not much over that. So we've had very good luck with maintaining the budget on this project. Very grateful for that. As I mentioned, we are looking at the extra cost of our sprinkler system. We've talked to the water department about various ways we can maybe re-pipe and re-tap the project, but from my fire protection engineers, they've looked at it a couple of different ways. They don't think we can do anything that's going to drastically affect the pressure that we need, or increase the pressure we need. We can increase the flow, but not the pressure. So we are going down the road of probably installing sort of a doghouse prefabricated building behind the senior center where we'll bring the water in and it'll be pumped up to pressure to service the building. And that's necessary. There's a question that came up in our review. We sat down Monday with the different department heads, municipal, water, sewer, like lighting was there, DPW, police and fire. And one of the suggestions that came up last week that came up from the municipal water department was, would you like to reconsider the senior center as a emergency shelter facility? We had asked that question early on, and we were told no, not to do that. But it's been since raised again because the electric light department believed we were going to install a generator because we were going to install a generator for the fire pump. The fire pump is something that has to work regardless if power goes out. So the sprinkler system work. That's why it has that emergency power. So we will have an emergency generator for the fire pump. If you wish to have an emergency shelter, the generator will have to be sized for the entire building. Otherwise, the generator just has to be sized for the fire pump itself. And so the question we discussed asking the entire committee was, is there any reason to reconsider this project as an emergency shelter?
So, besides the generator being updated more, what else is involved?
Besides increasing the generator size to the entire building, basically, and then increase the amount of on-site fuel storage. Remember, I think we have two 1,000-gallon tanks at the police facility because we wanted 72 hours of operation. The generators have to operate for 72 hours with an on-site fuel source. You also have, because it's going to be an emergency shelter, it's what's going to be classified as an essential facility. You probably remember me discussing that because the police building, fire building, those are also essential facilities. There's a higher structural criteria for those buildings, higher lateral load, seismic load, and stuff like that. So we will have to increase the structural resistance of the building with shear walls and other techniques of in wood frame construction. So there would be a modest increase in structural systems. There would be an emergency generator, and then there will be an automatic transfer switch. Depending on how we do it, we may need a 2-hour room to put it in because the emergency power needs to be separated from normal power by a 2-hour firewall, basically.
You get one for Fisp or planning board?
I think this meeting.
The building committee, the Fisp committee?
So we heard that the dog meeting was going on.
Oh,
it's not in the hallway.
It's not in the hall. Sorry.
Sorry about that, guys.
I'm probably lucky. I was told you were ready.
This isn't about dogs. What are they talking about?
I thought we were waiting. Thank you, guys.
Do we have a dollar amount? Within, you know, I'm not looking for you to tell me, you know, anything for $27, but.
You have a dollar amount or something around that way. You didn't mention anything about sanitary facilities inside being upgraded, showers and so forth.
Well, you can have an emergency shelter without having a shower. That's not a code requirement. It's a convenience, but we don't have a shower. If you were going to consider this an emergency shelter in every aspect, you could have a shower. But we don't have that yet at this time. Because of course we're going down a road that we've already discussed not being a shelter. So, you know, your generators are going to cost you 50, 60. Fuel supply, transfer switches, and everything else, you're probably between 60 and 90.
So we have the high school as the emergency. Why do we need another one?
I thought it was resolved. It was just brought up by Jonathan and the light department. Thought that, you know, we should look at it again.
Well, we never talked about it. This happened after the subcommittee. My only concern is
early on. I brought it to the attention of the full committee.
right, but we talked about it here, but we never talked.
This committee already voted.
We
Way
haven't
back,
talked about this
we
new
didn't
change
design this.
that someone brought it up at the subcommittee.
No,
All we,
Friday.
yeah, right. All we talked about, and this is what I had a question for, is that pump that we have to put in now. I'm more. I know we need it,
Right.
but I'm more concerned about the long-term maintenance of that pump.
Yes.
You know, sure, it's going to be there the first year. It's going to be running fine, but there's going to be, I'm sure, maintenance. There's going to be a building around it. There's going to be pumps. There's going to be. It just seems there's no. You learn that there's no other way to do
It's
it.
a new operational cost. Yes.
You can't do a dry system or anything like that
It's
instead.
actually the dry system that's causing this requirement. Because of course, the dry system occurs up in the attic area, similar to the police building. And in the calculations of NFPA, you actually have to consider in a dry system twice the area under engagement as you would in the wet pendant area. So because of the size of our attic area, and the fact that we have probably, I think the calculation of over 2,000 square feet of it would have to be considered involved in a fire incident that the sprinkler system will run out over 2,000 square feet. And the fact that we are on a hill and we're on the second floor, basically the second floor of a building on a hill, pressure at that elevation isn't strong enough to support the flows that engineers would require.
So just back to it. So the issue with maybe running a pipe to another area, another street, none of that can happen.
The engineers have looked at that, and while they're not saying no, because you have to do hydraulic calculations which are beyond that, they're saying some rule of thumb numbers they would say would indicate that it doesn't seem possible. We talked about we took a flow test on the hydrant, which was on site, which is coming off a 6-inch line. We considered what would happen if we brought an 8-inch line in. It would increase flow and it would increase pressure a little bit. We need to increase pressure a lot. They didn't think they would do it. If you wanted to, the water department could analyze the flows that they know that are in the streets around this area, consider cross connections, calculate the improvements of those cross connections hydraulically, and determine what is a probable flow and pressure on our site. And then if that was deemed sufficient, they could build it. And only after they built it and we tested it would we know if that was right or wrong.
And it's all ledge, so now you're talking about putting all that underground pipe 4 feet down in ledge
I know, but this
versus a pump.
I tried, because I'm not an engineer, I made them do all sorts of things to prove to me that, we couldn't get away without it, because I've only had to put a fire for one other building in 30 years.
That's what I'm concerned. I just think of our sewer system. We talk about pumps that we're there. We have a lot of pumps in the system, and it costs, the maintenance is a lot more because of that.
Yeah.
I personally would like to, any other way, I know you're saying we have to dig it, but it may still be cheaper than what we're going to pay. It's like that whole upstate, that whole building's like $150,000, $200,000, the building, the pumps.
In the estimate here, The cost of the pump,
and all that building and all the generator, everything.
it was broken down, so I can tell you what we're estimating that.
Is the ledge where the building is going to be?
Part of it on the east side.
And there's no other place to move it to on the property?
It's only a couple feet at the time.
All
so-
field?
No, the building,
Where the pump is going to be?
no, I don't know if the pump, if where they're building the pump, if there's like,
It would be up and back.
yeah, I don't know if there's, I don't know. The building is gonna be partial on ledge.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking where they're putting the pump in that area. Would that be?
Oh, no, so the pump is the pump will have this with the rock.
Okay,
Not-
oh,
But
okay.
if you were to try to take the water line down to Horseshoe,
Mhm.
the rock is going towards Horseshoe.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a pressure booster station on, I think it's Western Ave Extension over there. And the zone that that pressure booster covers right now doesn't include the mixer property. But has anyone talked to the water department to see if they can move the zone of influence of that?
Yeah, we
booster?
spoke to them on Monday, actually, the meeting before that, and their opinion was there was enough pressure at that site, but they've got no other sprinkler system near that they can make that conclusion. They just, there's
But
more than
that's
enough
not
pressure
pressure.
for water, there's pressure for residential, of course.
The way the pressure booster is in that street, it starts just beyond the mixer property. And the way they engineered it, it's got some fancy doodad one-way valve with a pressure booster upstream from the water supply. So I think they can move that juncture to include the mixer property.
The other concern we have is that the water lines in front of our building on Prescott, and the water line to the hydrant is transite pipe, asbestos pipe. And it's older and it's usually semi-brittle. You cannot usually put that type of pipe under pressure. It'll usually crack and bust. So if we were to, our solution to this project is we're going to take an 8-inch ductile line pipe to Prescott, and we're going to put that line under pressure suction, basically. We're going to suck the water out of it, basically. And because we have no other choice. If that breaks the water line in Prescott, and we don't think it will because there's enough distance and volume to mitigate that negative pressure, but there's a remote chance that even putting a fire pump mixture may cause suction on the transite pipe in Prescott, and you may crack the pipe.
Can I just go back to the?
So if talking about the pressure station, maybe they know that, I'm sure they do, and maybe they're concerned about putting too much pressure on that. But this is the water department
This
issue.
street is the same money. It's under pressure now. I don't know that it would make a difference.
Well, they
You
didn't,
can certainly ask Mike.
yeah, they didn't offer anything on the pressure station.
Yeah, I would suggest you just ask them about whether
Sure,
the
good point.
zone of that pressure boost could include mixer.
Yeah.
Good point. If we could avoid it, I've been trying to avoid it for 3 weeks now. They pretty much convinced me I can't avoid it. So.
The water department seemed to think it's not an issue. But what's the cost, just so you were looking for?
Yeah, the cost was about 80 grand in direct cost. By the time you get to a market and anything, you're probably talking about 100.
So it's 100.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd like to, like you say, if there's a cost of putting
We
a pipe
talked
in.
to the water department about, what it takes.
I mean, I'd love to try to get away from
Don't we have to go through that ledge anyway to connect the sewer?
Yes.
You gotta dig a trench anyway, so it's not, there's no added cost.
No, there's,
But the sewer does not have to be down as deep as.
you have to separate about 10 feet too. So now you.
So we would have to dig 2 trenches or 1 giant trench? Okay, thanks.
John, have you looked at NEMA or FEMA funding if we were to opt to make this a safety building?
There hasn't been any money in any other community for emergency shelters.
So I would ask what they vote on making it not an emergency shelter, because we already did that once. I would just like to make sure that, so we can move on from that.
I'll make a motion that we do not construct this building to be an emergency shelter.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And just so the public knows, because we don't need it. It's
Right,
not that
we
we
have
don't
a
have a shelter in town, we have
a nice.
the extra cut. It would be much more than that 100,000, you know.
So the other parts of the design that we're working on, and parts of the design that are in our critical path right now, is the kitchen area. So we have proposed and shown some equipment. The senior center director has reached out to a couple other senior centers to find out, because we don't know what kind of meals we want to prepare. That's really the part of the project that senior centers and counties determine what is their meal plan, what is their nutritional plan, and from that you can determine, okay, we don't need fry layers, we want soup kettles, simmers. So, you know, we can figure out what kind of equipment is necessary once, you know, somebody has a meal plan and a quantity. So Lisa's been working on that, looking at other similar size facilities, doing similar meal programs to determine what kind of equipment. We have a rough idea on the equipment. We're discussing layout now. There was a local person who had offered some assistance, a restaurateur, I believe, who was offering some assistance but hasn't been available since that offer. I have sent a couple of recent revised kitchen plans to the subcommittee and Lisa to ask her if these are better. But we really do need to pick this one quick because it's holding up our HVAC design. So we don't know what kind of heat load we have. It's slowing down our gas design. We can't figure out what our gas demand is, natural gas demand on the building, because we don't know what all the equipment is and what it should be. So right now, our critical path is going through the kitchen right now. Other parts of the project are going very well, but this one hits a lot of different disciplines, basically. So we're still working on that. That's one thing we want to get through. The other thing that we've found in this early phase of the project, and it's listed here, and I'm going to take Tony's thing away from it, is single phase versus three phase service in the building. Right now, Prescott is only served by single phase service. We have to go down to our store.
Have to go where?
Down to our store to find out where the three phase is. Three phase power. So this building would normally want to see this building in three phase. There's a lot of advantages to it. The electrical here, I mean, we'd be talking about a 400 amp service, but with single phase, we have to use 600 amp service here. It's more money, it takes up more space, it takes up almost twice the amount of electrical space that I don't have right now. The HVAC equipment has to get smaller because we can't get large single-phase equipment, so now instead of like one HVAC unit coil, we need two smaller ones, basically. So we would recommend three-phase. I know there's a cost associated with bringing three-phase to the site. The electric department, municipal electric department, wasn't able to come to Monday's meeting, but it's something we are going to go down with that to find out what are the options here. They have suggested they might be able to bring three-phase power up to our particular area of the site, and they could do it as far as labor goes, but similar to what we did on the police facility, they would need us to reimburse them for the materials to do that. Basically bringing up the conductor up the street. They say it's feasible, and I think what we need to do is find out from them what they think the budget cost of that is, and compare it against what we think the budget cost of these other single-phase costs that we're going to be incurring. So, realistically speaking to my engineers, we're in the neighborhood that would, certainly for materials, it would be a wash.
But it's not a wash because the three-phase equipment is bigger, better, less of it, therefore less long-term costs.
More efficient.
Right. So it's a wash is a plus.
Right.
Even if it costs a little more for the three-phase,
Yeah,
it's probably worth it.
Yeah, we wouldn't be asking to assume more long-term or life cycle costs. We knew that would be better. We're just like initial construction costs.
And plus we have advantages paying for the material. We're not paying for the labor.
But that's not guaranteed, though. I mean, that would have to be a vote of the
Right.
municipal light board to agree to.
I'm sure they would. But yeah, you're right. So,
You looking for a motion, John?
I think that's part of it. Yeah, that's
No, this is part of our normal study.
John, I do have a question on the kitchen. Your 2A and 2B, in both of those, the hand site seems to get farther away in 2B than it did in 2A. And is that some issue that we're going to have with public health?
hand sink for prep or hand sink for dishwashing?
Hand sink for prep.
Yeah, we have one hand sink shown on just outside the wall, and yes, there may need to be another hand sink. I have that.
Short answer is we haven't reviewed it with public health yet.
Okay, okay.
If we don't, then we don't really want to add it. I don't want to show it until I'm told to.
Okay. And I think I will hold judgment until public health sounds off on that.
It'll go straight for it. I'll be more interested in the grease trap.
But at the subcommittee meeting, we went over and the senior senate director went over all the items she wanted in it, and that was agreed upon. There's no issue with what she wanted there, I don't believe.
No, we have everything.
Everything that they
everything
wanted.
that was discussed. It's in there.
And you
We weren't
just-
sure it was going to fit, but it all fit.
Okay.
And you moved, I noticed you moved the door.
We
You
moved
made
the
the
door.
door to make more room for it.
Okay. The corners were more efficient. Yes. That's all set. All right. So we have a good plan. We're moving ahead with it. Like I said, the only critical path right now is basically the kitchen. We'd like to lose out a three-phase service or electrical service as soon as possible, and they're dealing with the rock. So we're gonna do that. The other item that was brought up to us, and I will discuss it, is for Bob, the swing down grab bars. So I'm not sure if people have seen this. Got a couple of copies. It's been suggested that in the handicap toilet rooms, first discussed the senior center, that we add a supplemental handrail, grab bar basically. It's one that flips up against the wall and swings down if you need it. And if it's came down, it would offer you two parallel grab bars, one on the wall, one hanging in the air here, cantilevered off the wall, which would assist you or assist a handicapped person in using the toilet fixture. These used to be required in the state of Connecticut, and they have since gotten away from them. They are not required for ADA or Massachusetts Architecture Access Board. I did speak to the Access Board director today on it, and he says you can install them if you can install them without conflicting or removing the required two grab bars you always see in the back two corners. And we can do that. It's possible to install it. In the senior center, this could be installed roughly. They were going for I think about $300 or $400 a piece, basically, and we need two of them. So, in addition to the one required handicap stall, the large one is like 6 by 9, basically, where we would install this. We've also decided in one of the standard 3 by 5 smaller toilets right next to it, we would do what's called an ambulatory stall. It's typically required if you have more than 6 stalls in a toilet room. And basically, it just means that you're going to install grab bars on the 2 side partitions in a 36-inch partition. Also letting someone go in there who maybe have a mobility infirmity, but not necessarily obviously anybody's going to go in there in a wheelchair. So it's more assistance. We are talking about a more senior population. It makes sense. A couple of grab bars is perfect within any contingency we have.
So I think at one time you thought you might have redesigned the bathrooms or make them bigger for this? No, that wasn't the case yet?
No.
Okay.
So that we're going to continue with. It's wise and it's appropriate for the population, and it's the right time to do it because obviously nothing's built yet.
John, there was a concern that I had, and I discussed with you, suggested that we should have one of these in the police station. And that would be the main bathroom coming in right off the main lobby there. And the situation I pointed out was, a friend of mine pointed it out to me. His wife has had a stroke, and she's disabled on the left side of her body. And if she goes into the bathroom at the police station, she has to rely on the grab bars on the left side, which is impossible for her. If we could put in one of these drop-down bars, it would resolve that problem.
You don't have to convince me, but I will say that the pleasant thing about installing this at the senior center is we can install the blocking now. You can imagine the torque, the moment on this, with a large person using it. This requires basically two studs, two dedicated studs in the wall to support it, secure top and bottom. To retrofit this into an existing station would require cutting the wall open top and bottom to install studs, and then repairing, cutting and patching the sheetrock and the tile and all the surfaces to install it. So it is a much larger venture to put it into the police station. It is possible to do so, but it is a much larger venture to do so.
Hang a quick number on that if you think on retrofit. $2,000?
No, I mean, it's not code by anybody. No one, not required by anybody. I mean, I think the senior center, without a doubt, I don't know about admin. Personally,
We've never, honestly,
I've
not seen this. This would be the first time.
I've never ever seen one, except for this picture.
You're right, imagine a person using the toilet and maybe besides being in a wheelchair, there's arm damage. There's things that you can't plan for. But I'm not the person to say I can't do it.
Just to put the issue to rest once and for all, I move that we retrofit one of these units into the police station.
Second. For discussion purposes.
Any other discussion on that?
I've already brought up my thought. I don't
Okay,
the extra cost and things.
all right. Then we'll go. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
And again, I just want everybody to know that these are fully handicap accessible, all but this one bar. But the senior center, I don't think we need a vote. That's that
That would be easy to do.
can be added at a low cost, $300 for the bar, but just putting it up to 2 by 4.
Yeah, that's easy.
The cost of that at the time of bid, you're not even going to know.
Right. Exactly.
And does anybody want to talk about fireplaces? Okay.
Talk about what?
I think I think the subcommittee. That's the subcommittee on it, and then bring it.
I'm just teasing.
I think some people already replied.
Yeah, I'll say it. Thank
All
you.
right. John, I have a question. Time
For the design documents, assuming we get good answers, probably mid-December.
Does that still keep us on schedule for February meeting?
Yes.
What is the assuming we get good answers? What does that mean?
Well, again,
Just specify.
Resolve the kitchen.
good answer would be an answer next week.
What could cause the non-resolution of the kitchen?
Us not receiving approval to proceed with equipment because people are unsure of what.
So the subcommittee needs to meet and make decisions on the kitchen equipment
Yes,
as soon as possible.
yes. Well, first, if we take a look at the designs that we offer, select one, and then if that's acceptable to you, then I will go out and get recommended cut sheets on what specific 6-burner stove we would get or what convention oven we would suggest, and that stuff. I mean, right now, we're just looking for approval as far as the generic equipment goes. And then my next step is once I have that, then I'll start putting together the actual physical specs on each piece of equipment for you. And then I'll.
Why can't we give that to them now?
I thought we had come.
We have a layout.
I thought this was well.
We have you were holding back until you had this restaurant person available to kind of bless it.
Can I just say, is the scope subcommittee on board with the design, kitchen design?
Well, they just came on report.
The list is pretty much
So now the plan.
The plan just came out by email yesterday.
So when do you guys meet?
Well, but I mean, I said this at the subcommittee meeting and I'll say it now. If he comes up and all the experts say this is where the stove should go and this is where the sink should go, I'm not going to say I disagree with that. So I don't even think.
I think I'm going where you were. The subcommittee does not get asked how to design or lay out the kitchen any more than they did the cells or anything at the police station. The subcommittee, with the director, came up with the list of equipment that is recommended for the building. You give that information to your designer to come up with a suitable layout that works with the plumbing, mechanical, electrical, and the flow. I don't think there's a subcommittee meeting that's needed. John, have you fit all the equipment that we asked you to fit in the 5-pound bag?
Yes.
The answer is yes.
So, with that being said, you can proceed with the kitchen design?
I'll proceed to the next step, was basically get all the cut sheets and submit them.
Submit them to what?
Well, to the subcommittee, and my issue, up until now, when we were working on the premise of that, is that there was some person, some volunteer on the town side who has restaurant experience giving advice to the senior center.
But I don't think that is happening.
It was supposedly going to be Sabas. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's happened with that.
Yeah, he's not.
Some emails that I've seen, he had a medical issue, he may have been away on surgery or something, now he's out of the country. We need to move forward.
John knows how to design.
Well, let's proceed without
There was another gentleman at our subcommittee meeting that, that looked at this, and he looked at the list, and he said, everything you have on this list is what you need.
And you know,
And it just fit it in.
raised it with me. He said he wasn't sure that sink, the hand sink, may pose a problem with the Board of Health. So what I'm thinking, John, that if you were to touch base with the Board of Health, get an okay with them, we're on board.
As we did go through the design development package, which came out, before I completely send back my notes, we will meet with not only the Board of Health, but we'll meet with the building department, who was not at last Monday's meeting, but this past Monday's meeting, to get kind of a full overview of where we are in the design and where we're moving forward. Again, I don't see the need for a committee unless something comes back drastically different than what we're designing.
Right.
So that takes care of one potential obstacle. You seem to indicate that there might be others.
There's the
That would
three
delay
phase
It's electrical service.
and the pump. The whole thing.
Well, we're going down, we're planning on a pump, because I don't think time permits us to wait on that, and we have some assurance from our engineers that it's not going to be necessary. But at the same time, we're going to ask the water department if they've got a magic bullet, basically.
I'd like to pursue that too.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the kitchen?
Sure.
Is there anything in it that is different from other areas that have the same needs? Like, it seems like there was a lot of controversy, either what should go in it or the size. I'm just curious as to why it's been a...
Right now, you don't have experience with a kitchen in the senior center, because you never had a kitchen in your senior center, and you always have been catering. So this is an undiscovered, the undiscovered continent for you, because you don't have that experience. So Lisa's been going around and talking to other senior centers, and they do similar. We don't know how successful we will be. We all hope that at the building they will come. We've seen that happen. So we're trying to develop a kitchen which is good for your anticipated program, but also that's can adapt to do more. My biggest concern, I'm not a professional kitchen designer, I've done some, but we have consultants to do that, is what size dishwasher do I need for this type of use? I've seen senior centers that use nothing more than a residential grade dishwasher, and I don't think I'd recommend that to you, because I think that if you're marginally successful, you'll have something. You'll need something more than that. You'll need more throughput, and you'll certainly need something that's more durable. So we'll go through this. We'll be speaking to some kitchen consultants that we deal with, and we'll get some recommendations. I've got the kitchen plans of 4 other senior centers, so I know exactly what they've done. I kind of put this together using some of that information.
So we can move forward with this.
Yeah, we did make some changes. We made some changes. We had the doors on each side. You put the doors together. And I think Lisa wanted to talk to some other senior centers about 2 doors. We were thinking about 1. But it looks like we agreed to
try to maximize the space of the building.
Right.
In the room, one door is better.
And the pass through for people to bring things so you don't have to. So I think.
Right.
At the beginning of the meeting, the first thing you said is you couldn't finalize the kitchen equipment until you were clear on what the need for menu was.
Right.
But it sounds, and that's contrary to what I just heard, which was, it's a standard kitchen, it's got what it needs, we can move forward. Those
In my opinion, I didn't realize, I didn't know how finalized it was. It seemed that it was Lisa having a conversation with other senior centers, but I thought it was going to get backstopped by this other person to come in and say, you know, yea and nay or something on some of the pieces.
All right, so we know now that that's not the case, and we can move forward. All right?
It's not on me, it's if the kitchen generates what Lisa expected it to generate. I don't think care, but it doesn't sound like.
From what I see from that list and from what I see from their kitchen, I think we have, well, I can guarantee we have a better kitchen than we have.
You have,
Yes, we could.
That's what I guarantee.
in comparison to some of the senior centers I've seen of similar size, you have at least everything they have. So that's.
John, could you get a proposal from a bona fide kitchen consultant to meet with Lisa and run through this? If we don't have a volunteer from town, throw the number out, get a proposal from a bona fide kitchen designer consultant that can sit with Lisa in an hour and say, okay,
Just
here's
look
the
over the
plan, here's the list of equipment, sounds great, looks good, that's what I would do, put a hand sink here, put this there. You know, what's it going to cost us? $1,000?
I just been to a commercial kitchen design.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Chop and grab. I mean,
Right.
he
You
does
got
half
Boston
of
kitchens.
Just half of the state.
Okay. All right, so
I've gone through less conversations for a school of 12,000 students with far more kitchen equipment.
all right. Anything else have anything for John?
Yeah, the budget estimates.
Yes.
So when we're first looking at this, we have the whole number we're working from, which we all thought was profoundly overinflated. You're coming back with an initial figure that's 200K less than that profoundly overinflated figure. Do you believe these numbers?
Yes.
So, okay, we're hoping for 500 or 700K of estimated.
Don't say yes just yet, because you don't know what he's looking at.
Yeah, what is the
What
dollar
are you-
amount?
He's not looking at that, he's looking at my budget.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it's 6.4 million is the reference figure here.
So the 6.4 million was a number that I had thrown out way back when I was given the other architect's number and said what might or might not be missing from this. And we started adding technology, furniture, and equipment, and all of those. The number from the variance of the program estimate, which I said was 6.357, right now we are trending $205,000 less than that. Now we were hoping at some point, and I think what is being stated, when we were hiring the designer, we said, how do we get $1 million out of this budget?
Right.
Right? Okay. Right now, the only number that seems to really be moving a lot is the construction number, which is looking like 4.3 million comparatively to the 4.2 million for the police station. So there's not a lot of movement there. And we haven't addressed any of the other estimated numbers. We started to talk earlier about, is the technology the same? What would that be? What would some of those? So we're focusing on one number, which is 4.3 million of the 6, or of the total 5.7 million, right? But there's a lot of other numbers in here that make up that cost.
But I'm just looking at the most basic figures here. And the police station finished cost is going to come in somewhere around 490 square foot. This, we're talking upwards of 620 a square foot. Technologically, far simpler building. I'm having a problem with that.
Well,
How do we resolve this?
Are you comparing square foot project dollars to square foot construction dollars?
I'm just taking what we believe to be the all-in
You
cost.
took the 5.2 million divided by
11,000.
11,000, whatever it is, 11,500 square feet.
This is 6.2
He says,
divided by 10.
Yeah.
So it's 620 square foot. So we're going up 25% per square foot for a much simpler building.
This has been a question of all of us for months.
Exactly. But
Phil asked the question to every one of them, can you knock out X amount out of this budget? And we're not getting that money out of the fund.
Phil asked if we could
Knock it off.
cut to $5.5 million somewhere in that price range, am I correct?
5.5 around there.
We're at 6.1.
And our goal, our contract was based upon coming in at about 4.2 for construction hours.
Then how much, then add the other.
How much
Say the total.
But
We were involved with the soft costs or
that number of 4.3 has escalation in it
yes.
of $127,000. Down at the bottom of my page, I've got a $700,000 number in there for escalation and everything else that goes into this municipal bond line, municipal bonding / escalation cost that needs to be reduced. He's now carried that in his number. So there's a double dipping of $127,000. So we need to work on individual line items individually, not just try to compare the apple to the grapefruit and why is it different, if that makes sense.
So Tony, are you going to now take Fogarty's estimate and insert that into your budget sheet?
I did that at the $4,378,000. I'm now going to add the 22. I'll leave the 22,000 for alternate one out. But I think based on, if not a formal vote, the direction that this committee is headed is that the portico should be in the base bill. I'm going to add that to the $4,300,000.
Do you have an extra copy of your budget? Doug?
Yes. Sorry.
You know,
And then we're going to, now meet with Karen or someone and say, what are we doing for phones, technology, does she need servers? I've got, 28 other line items that make up the other $2 million that we haven't talked about, focused on. We've redesigned the billiard room, we're redesigning the kitchen room, we're dealing with the pumps and the utilities, but there's still 28 line items that need to be addressed.
So 4.3 plus the 1.1, that gives us the total?
no, because there's a whole bunch of other additional project costs in the budget that aren't included.
Like appliances aren't listed in here, from what I'm right, Tom?
So right now we're at,
Making this.
right now with that budget, we're at 4.3
We've applied.
plus 1.1, so we're at 5.4.
I don't have
Plus all the stuff that's not.
Right. These numbers were big.
Right.
we just said for 1 second, we talked about the portico, and I think everybody agrees that the portico is a needed. I don't think it should be an alternate. I think it's definitely needed.
Yeah. $50,000 for us to build that 2 years from now.
It's going to cost $200,000.
It would cost us, well, it would cost us two 2x4s.
So I think, I don't know if we need a vote, we just should.
We think we already did.
I think we did.
Did we?
I understood it to be part of this.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's just broken out that way on the
And
yes.
it was
Well, you said today it was going to be down at all.
You just
Well,
texted.
when it came in at TD's about 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was an alternate, and we discussed making it part of the base bid. But this estimate is based upon those previous documents. It was
Okay.
listed in this.
So it is going to be in the base. Okay.
Yeah, next submission will have this estimate.
Okay.
So where'd you come up with the 6.2 that you said?
It's right on here.
6.3 is in red letters at the top of the budget. So it is the current variance, which I put in here different than the police station budget, to show where are we tracking against the 6.3 that was given out some 6-8 months ago.
Okay.
Knowing that you wanted to track to try to get that to $1 million. So I added that line in there at the top so that we can see on one page where are we trending.
And you're saying that there was the 205.
That 205 is the variance from the program estimate of 6.357 if our total cost today is 6.1, we're only 200 under.
What is that, does that have $1 million savings that they're trying to establish?
No, so 200.
It's actually 330 because you double dipped on the contingency.
We're going to be down 400 pretty
This-
quick.
But as Pat said, there's a lot of zeros here still.
What would you say about 700,000 before?
Down in the municipal bonding and escalation of other costs is $700,000. You all need to tell me where to cast that in the other budgets if you want to put more money in for technology. Other than the equipment that John's carrying in the construction of the kitchen, is there another microwave? I don't see another kitchenette anywhere as I do when I look at a police station project. There's a kitchen, there's some equipment in the construction documents, but there's always another kitchenette, there's a countertop somewhere. Hey, does somebody want a microwave somewhere else? Do we want to buy printers, cabinets, coffee makers? We haven't talked about that at the subcommittee level or at this level to say, where do we want to save money? We know we can't get $1 million out of the building. The building spent $4 million, $4.5 million, $4.3 million. It's going to fluctuate somewhere around there. It's 10,000 square feet at $430-something a square foot. It is what it is. If somebody wants to get together, we don't have to have a design meeting. We can have a subcommittee meeting and go through what do you guys think is reasonable for a phone system. Here's what we spent at the PD. What do we want to budget here? We don't have a snow blower for this building. Do you want one out there? If one's going to be there, where are you going to keep it? Because we don't have a salad port in the garage. So you tell me how you see outfitting that building, and I'll put the right money in the right pockets for you. We haven't had that discussion.
I can't see, it seems that the snowball, they probably should take care of that building. So.
Yeah.
Right. But when they show up,
No, no.
offload a snow blower to go around the building sidewalks?
Yep.
Or is one
I
going to
would
be
also-
out there? Okay. I don't operate the buildings.
I know, I understand. And, you know, Karen Prairie would have more like telephone, would she do?
Yeah, she's ready to have that conversation. She and I actually talked about it the other day, and I told her that I would ask Tony or John when it was appropriate to pull her in to start having a discussion. She made the very brief statement that it does not need to be as robust as it was for the police station, but there were definitely things she wanted to make sure were included.
Let me work on that for our next meeting. We'll try to refine the budget.
Yeah.
Try to figure out who we need to meet with.
It sounds to me like you can't do what we need you to do. That sounds like it's not going to happen.
But let me ask you a question. Why does it need, you arbitrarily said this is going to come in at the same price as the police station. Why?
Because that's what we can sell at the town meeting.
I disagree. I think we sold this building already. We said this is $1.1 million. Be prepared for another, I don't know if we use $6.5 million. We already told the town, we're not giving you a hard price because we don't know it. We're going to get, now, are we going to have gold-plated walls? No, we're going to do the right thing. But I don't think we should focus on, we need to cut this budget down by another $700,000 from where we stand right now. We need to say, this is what we need. This is a senior center. No, that's a luxury. Don't do that. Yes, spend the $350 on the swing bar and go back with the bid and say, this is what the price is. This is what we told town meeting we were going to do. We told them we have a hard number. We know 1.1 will cover this phase. We're going to come back with bid documents, so you're going to know exactly what this is going to cost. We never made any promises that it was going to be the same as the police station. So I don't know why we're fixating on, let's chop this budget down. We should be fixating on, let's build the right building. We don't have control over construction costs. It's mandated by the state that a chainsaw operator is going to make X dollars on the job, and that's what you got to pay. So for us to say, to build a budget-focused building versus building the building we need and tell the town this is what it's going to cost, I think is the wrong approach.
You're an elected officer, I'm not.
Right now, I'm just a member of the committee, just like you. I'm just telling you that that's how I feel.
How much in contingency do we have built into that 6.5, 6.3?
What's 6.3 though? That's the red number, that's the number. This is nothing here with the 6. Up here, right?
The red number,
Yeah, that's the number we're at right now.
I know.
This is the number that we started with as the
So we're at
original estimate,
6.152.
minus $127,000.
And we're at 6 million.
Yes.
collectively 300,000 in contingency sitting here today.
That would be 5 million.
You're gonna spend some of it, now, go ahead, how much did we
So
have?
we're at roughly
In
6 million right
How
now.
much did we spend of contingency?
Well, going back to Phil's point, I think what he's trying to say is, the building is 1,500 square feet less, it's a lot less, you don't need as much equipment as you do in the other one, so it should come in less money. I think that's what he's, am I right?
I know what I'm trying to say, yeah.
But Phil did ask everybody that came in front of us that night, straight up, the question was, can you knock off X amount of money off? And every one of them looked at it and said, I can see no problem with that. And now we're back to 6 million.
For me, I'm trying to get
But you're not asking the right question. You can't ask the architect, how do you chop $1 million off 6 million and then compare it to 4 million? And you keep putting your apples in the wrong baskets. John, the building, the police station was 4.2 million. We're all in, and these are real numbers, right? 4.207 with all the change orders today. 4,207,000. Why is a smaller, less complicated building being estimated at 4.37? That's the question. Forget the red number, forget the escalation, where the contingency money is. Building to building, apple to apple, why is this building slightly more than the police station?
1,500 square feet less.
Right. So
That's the question.
initially, there's inflation, obviously, that takes part of it.
Okay?
And I'm speaking on behalf of the estimator. The estimator is estimating 30% drawings, not 100% drawings, which the contractor had. So there's still some fluff in there, because he doesn't have all the information.
So the estimator has, to answer that question, $278,000 of unknown fluff that's not on drawings. Does everybody understand that? It covers, hey, we don't have a full mechanical system, we don't have a full kitchen, so I plug 278 in there.
Yeah, so Tony, you reframe my question in a way I don't agree.
So
I'm looking at total all-in costs. You're saying building. That's nice, but that's not what I'm asking.
okay, so I'm just saying, if you're asking me,
Let me finish.
sure.
So we know there were multiple layers of contingencies added in here, and I don't think there was clarity from anyone here exactly what the all-in contingency we had planned originally was. What we did here was best estimate that overall design and construction inflation could be top numbered at about 6% a year. So, and that sounded generous, but okay, let's take that. So in theory, for an equivalent building, equivalent square footage, you would expect the square footage rate to go up nominally 12%. This will be about 2 years behind the police station. So you could argue, okay, this is a simpler building from a technological standpoint. Okay, you save money there. It's got an enormous kitchen. You're going to add money there. So and there's some give and take there.
Remember, a lot of that technology wasn't in the construction contract price, it was in your development cost, dealing directly with your vendors.
Exactly. But again, I'm just trying to look at the total, how it gets broken out. And the conversation, Tony, you and I had earlier was, from the original 1.1, is there any duplication of that original funding pot with what would be in this budget? And I'm not sure what that answer is. And I think you're saying, yes, there's some.
He just got it today, so.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to see, is there a fundamental cost driver in the construction process that we need to be paying attention to that has somehow changed? Or do we have 800,000 in aggregate contingencies in here that is just overinflated the price and we just don't see that yet?
We have 800,000 in overflated aggregate numbers that are not relative to what John's team is working on. Now, I will be happy to go through those with the committee or anybody else at your convenience. But when we keep looking to the design of the building to analyze the full budget, all I'm trying to say is he can't respond to 28 of those line items. He's only focused on one of them.
He only owns the cost of construction line item. Everything else is right.
I thought, just because it was negotiated, we were designing, we have a fixed limit construction cost of 4.2 million. And I thought by designing it to the 4.2, we were going to achieve that $1 million savings. That's what I thought. Maybe I was wrong in that. No? Okay.
That's what I thought too.
Right. So right now, we're 4.4.
So now you tell me there's all kinds of additional costs.
Well, you've heard that.
But that's not what we've been talking about all this time.
But I think the conclusion I pull away from this, we just need to give Tony some time to kind of sort through this another pass or two. So, I'm not just reacting.
Great time with the subcommittee. I'll set up a meeting as soon as we can all get together.
Okay.
But I'll say it again, I mean, this is the building we're going to build that's going to be in this town for many years. If we need a little more time and set a date that we might have in our heads off by a couple of weeks, I think we do it. We don't rush anything to get to a certain date for town meeting, a certain date for bids, everything. I think we need to do what's best.
Well, I think everything is moving on schedule. I guess the question that I would ask the committee, we discussed, negotiated, we have a contract for the building. Let's stick to the building for a minute. Do folks feel that the difference between the senior center and the police station, whether it's $1 million or you think it's $200,000, you've got the estimate, I know you just got it today, so this committee needs to look at that and come back to the design team and say, you know what, we see your estimate at 4.3 million, 4.378, $428 a square foot, and it's too high. How do we get that down to 4 million, 3.8 million, whatever your number is that you want to achieve, and it's either a reduction in something that brings the cost per square foot down, or does the building need to shrink by 1,000 square feet? Those are the two options that you have for reducing your 4.3 million down to something less than the 4.2 million you just spent on a police station.
Sure.
You can work on the other numbers separately.
What would bring the cost down besides reducing square feet?
Quality, materials. For instance, for the roofing system, we have, on top of the sheeting, we have peel and stick ice and water shield, and we're doing 100% roof. We've done that on the last few roofs because it's bulletproof, basically.
Right.
Put shingles on it.
Right. You never have a leak.
Right. But it's not code, it's not required.
The code is 6 feet, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah, you just put around the eaves and the ridges. And
That is not something you want to do on.
And you could put down
No, you
15 pound paper.
want to put it up.
But it's $50,000. That's the cost of the film stick. But you can take $50,000 off, put back 15-pound building felt, and you're probably going to save yourself $30,000 right there.
No,
You're gonna spend
it costs us $300,000 over 20 years.
In 15 years, you're going to be doing the roof.
Yeah, right.
Well, I don't think it does longevity. It doesn't help longevity. But it just means that it wards against a little bit of bad construction.
I want this building to come in as low as possible. When we first started this many moons ago, I think you were given a presentation and you said we're going to build a 7,000 square foot building. And back then at the very beginning, I said, why? Build the building we need, not the building that you think the town is going to, okay, they'll approve this. We need to design this building and build the building that we need for our seniors and not say, and not pin ourselves to it, and this is my opinion, and we're a committee. My opinion is we design the building that we think is the right building for the seniors. And we tell the town this is what it's going to cost. Now, we don't want to, if we're looking at things, no, we don't need that, that's a luxury. But to arbitrarily say we want to cut $300,000. We looked at the building, we said, this is what we want, this is what we need. To now say, to even consider reducing the footprint of the building to save dollars, I'll stand up at town meeting and tell them not to go for it. That's just, we shouldn't do that.
I don't know, but John's question to you, the only thing you came up with was the roof. There were other things, right? That was the quickest thing. What are the other, I can't imagine we have much luxury that we could cut.
So we're doing.
A different flooring or,
Basically, it'd be pennies and nickels. Nickels and dimes.
So we'll never
get there, but it'll be the things that you notice.
Are we going to do an alternate for upgrades of flooring and upgrades of walls and things like that?
All right,
So we're not. So that's the only way to go there is up. We can't cut and go down.
right. I mean, we're going to put in a vinyl that looks like this, kind of like the floors you saw in the lobby.
Yeah.
Not the lobby, the hallways. But yeah, but it's a vinyl product basically.
And we'll have an alternate to raise some of that.
Yeah.
So we can't. So we couldn't save any of that. So they're really.
So Tony will have a better idea of his side of it at the next meeting, correct?
Correct.
And then we will
Get through the three-phase electric, when we get through, we'll have some building costs, we'll have some outside of the building cost numbers, computers, furniture, equipment. Lisa and I have not sat down, as we did with the police station, to say, what are we buying? Stacking tables, modular tables, one desk, I don't know, are we buying billiard tables? I don't know what's in that. We've got a plug number in there of $130,000. Is that right, wrong, or indifferent? The police station only spent $100,000.
I think it's going to come.
So let's, like I said, let's
Should
do
it
that.
be half that?
But
I don't know.
some things right now that we know. The roof over the entrance, that we added to it. Paving, fixing the whole parking lot was added to it. That $100,000 for that pumping system, that was all added to it. So,
But that's in the 4.3.
I know, but we're talking about cutting. We added some things to it. So those would, if we didn't do all those things, that would have been cut.
And we added,
probably a couple hundred.
the things we added, have to be added. It was not on.
Like I said, build the building we need and tell the town, this is what we need and this is what it costs. And if they ask us why this is what it costs, because that's what the bids came in at, that's what it costs.
Again, I'm certainly not advocating we make any specific design changes to a specific budget, because we don't know what those are. And to go from 4.2 for the police station for the building to 4.4 for a senior center, I don't have a big issue with that. It's within the margin of error of the estimated inflation numbers. It's just there's another 1.8 million in here that I don't have an understanding of what it is and how the design process might impact what those figures are.
So Tony will have that at the next meeting. He will have a breakdown.
And that's exactly where I am with Ray is. I'm happy with the 4.4. That's fine. That's well within the margin, right? But my God, how do we all of a sudden go from 4.4 to 6.2 again? God, it just boggles my mind.
And the answer is everything down below hasn't been vetted.
Yeah, we didn't just go to 6.3. We've never gone to 5.3. So to sit here and say, how did we lose our $1 million? I'll argue with you, adamantly. Because that's where I'm getting to. We've never gone back. We're slowly going back, but we never went back. So don't be upset that we're at 6 point whatever, because we've never gone backwards. We haven't vetted 28 line items out of the budget. We've worked on one.
Well, let's all agree to get those figures at the next meeting, and we'll work it out.
And it better be 5.5.
You know me better than that. I don't give you the number you want. I give you the number that's right.
You all said, Joe?
Bill Murray, we remember from our interview, just withstood the planning board.
Let me go.
And was
Are you
asking.
standing?
I had a fantastic meeting with the planning board. They received the project formally, had a lot of positive suggestions for Jack Money. What was that?
6.8.
And I had suggested a dramatic cost-saving measure, and they accepted my logic sense.
Stormwater?
It's stormwater. I had told them that if we assume the mixer building existed, that would be our pre-existing condition, which means a lot of pavement and a lot of impervious. The stormwater regulations say that the condition of the site as of the date of submission of the plan is the pre-development condition, but it goes on to say unless it's a phased development. And I said this is a phased development. It's been known from the town. Tear the mixer down and build a municipal facility here. And they agreed with my logic. So that actually saved some money.
$38.22.
The problem is,
Take that out.
the problem is the site's got a massive amount of stormwater, whether that building's there or not. There's a lot of pooling of water on that site.
Yeah, that's the ball field.
The ball field, it's not,
Yeah.
I don't think it is on the other side.
Okay.
Ball field,
Okay.
definitely.
And
Extra
again,
zone goes there.
You mean the retaining pond?
Yeah.
So one of the things we discovered is we're going to have to go in front of the earth removal board because we're generating excess. We have to go in front of conservation maybe twice. We have to go back to the planning board, and their next meeting is December 6th. And we have to go to the earth removal board because we're generating a lot of extra fill. One of the planning board members asked, well, we think that that ball field could utilize some of that fill to raise it in grade and stop the bonding.
I know.
So I'm just passing that on as a message, but not hauling material off-site saves money.
Okay. Thank you. That was a good experience. That's what I like to hear.
It was fun.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? All right. Let's go to the voices.
Ken, before we move on, did there more come of the discussion about trying to combine a drainage project, possibly funded out of CPC, with the senior center?
Well, the Parks Commission is going to come into our next Fisp meeting and talk about that. All right.
Thanks.
Anything else to do? Okay. Cardinal invoice for the police station.
Cardinal invoice for the police station is in the amount of $7,479.81. It is our final invoice, number 19, in your packet.
So moved.
How much is that?
$7,479.81.
So second was all in favor.
This leaves 1,800 in your line item, but you're done?
Yes, well, it's complete. Our line item included testing services, so we're slightly under on the testing services and slightly under, I believe, on the geotech, which we're sub-consultants, so if they don't bill, we don't bill.
So that's 1,048 that I'm seeing that's left.
Something like that, yep. It won't be billed.
Okay.
Who made the motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now you have a Cardinal for the senior center.
Invoice for the senior center in the amount of $8,366.
So moved.
Second.
All in
Here
favor?
time.
Discussion?
Where is?
That's in the, that's the last page of
Last page.
Any discussion?
This is the 8366.
Yes. Roughly the 68 divided by equal monthly payments with an odd one.
All in favor?
Aye.
What else do we have? We have a CBA for the police station, number 5644 for 4667.
Yes, so I have two items in your packet, a few pages in on from the top. And you'll see there's, it starts with a Reinhardt invoice. This Reinhardt invoice number 8 in the amount of $58.30, as I was going through with Leslie, tying out all of the police station account budget items, what was paid, just making sure our two audit books matched. She was missing invoice number 8 from Reinhardt. And this occurred right around the time of transition from Reinhardt to CB. We were going through the debate with the lawyers over the contract amendment and who owns what where. This invoice had been held and then was not resubmitted. So when it came out, we jumped to 9 as C and B. 8 was never submitted. I don't know if you can approve this. I talked to John earlier about it. If you can vote on the amount, he will have a new invoice generated from C and B and submit that for payment.
Okay.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but what John read was 4667.
Okay, that's the next invoice.
Oh, but then you started talking about the other thing, so this is another one.
So you actually have 2 invoices.
Okay.
This is for the police station.
You're right.
On the cover sheet, you have 1. I'm adding this under kind of new business, if you will.
So you're basically approving the value tonight, but we'll be getting a new invoice under the CBA letter.
Correct.
For the same 4667?
No, for 5830. And then right behind this, you have another invoice, number 5644, from C&B for the $4,667.
Just to clarify, this was already in your budget.
This was in my budget.
And the numbers you gave us is not going to change that.
No.
Okay.
So it was missing from the ledger report that Leslie ran for me. And when we sat together the other day, she was missing number 8.
Right. So we have 2 invoices. We just have it.
I made a motion on the 4667.
Okay.
I moved to pay that.
We have a second on that?
Second.
All right, now we discuss that. Anybody want to discuss that?
When we pay these 2 invoices, what's the remaining balance?
The remaining balance is $3,000.
Really? So we've spent out the whole back and whatever else we have.
You will have spent $322,400, the total committed contract, including the additional $5,400 for the DOT redesign exercise. It's $325,400, leaving a balance of $3,000 to complete the realization project.
Thank you. All right. All in favor of that, 4667?
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we have another invoice from CBA for
$5,830.
and this is
Invoice number 8.
Invoice number 8
this
from
is
Reinhardt.
This is from Reinhardt. This is from Wilder.
So how can we pay a bill from?
We're going to get a new bill.
It's going to be dated this year?
I'm not worried about what the date is, I'm just worried about making sure that it's still in line with, it still retains number 8 with the correct value.
Correct. It only will come in as KO benefit.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to get that invoice number 8.
So it's Reinhardt number 8, and the amount of...
But
Well, they're not going to
No,
my
no.
heart appeal, you're just voting on the amount.
It's going to come in as, the invoice is going to come in as KO, right?
Correct.
Move it as Reinhardt/CBA,
Okay.
recognizing it was an invoice during transition.
Okay.
I move the 5,830.
As she
Exactly as she said.
is that. All right, second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Now we have one from CBA for the senior center, number 5626, for $24,475.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on that?
This is covering how much of a period of time? Or is it?
This is for 100% of schematic design. They've already issued design development, which
Way beyond this.
is well beyond this. This was as of October 18th, and we're now sitting here in November 8th.
Was the phase fixed price? Or is
Yeah, they're fixed prices for the phase. So this is like 5%, we've already seen the
All in favor?
Aye.
Now we have one for REC for the police station.
We do not have an invoice from REC this month. We will not have one until the end of the month when they're fully complete with their project. And has to be paid out on all the retainage and all the punch list items are complete. And training, turnover, and O&Ms have been conducted.
So we have,
I have in my packet to you a couple other invoices that I would continue the meeting. If I may, be subject to myself to more crime and punishment, abuse. After the C&B invoices, working backwards from the first page, I've included here 2 acuity bills. You've already voted to authorize acuity. I'm not sure, Anita, if these have gone through Nancy or are already in your packet somewhere to be paid.
No idea.
Okay. I've given you the originals of them that I have.
We have,
You have them in no, not in the handout that we had earlier, only in mine, hot off the press.
This is the 20,407.42.
One from acuity for $20,407.42, and another one for $14.99 for technology, which you had previously authorized the proposals and the contracts for.
so it's just a payment.
This is just a payment.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Following the acuity bills, I've included for you an invoice from a company called Stillwater Computer Services. It's for consulting for the town hall as well as the police department. The police department portion of it is $1,700, and it is for your town consultant to work with Lantel, Carousel, Acuity, and work on the technology aspects of the police department.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, is this Karen's?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. This is above and beyond the normal contract, so it is specific to this project.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tony, for minutes purposes, on the acuity thing, it's 20,407.42 and 1,499.
Correct, and that leaves a balance outstanding of approximately $8,500 that we don't have the invoice yet because they're not done. When they're done, complete with all their technology, we will expect to receive that invoice.
Go on. Anything more?
One more thing, just for information purposes, this stuff gets sent to me. I question what's in my budget, so I have to detail stuff. You have one more email in here, it's not an invoice. I think somebody's already paid it, but you have a line item in my police station budget of $2,100 under maintenance equipment. I put that in there because I received an email from Nancy saying the police station bought a snow blower for $2,100. It needs to be charged to the police station private funds.
I talked to the chief and I authorized him under the $10,000.
And that's in your, it's already
Put it in my
covered.
budget, it's in there, and
So I'll
yellow highlighted.
Make a motion to approve the $2,100.
Second.
I'm just curious, who's snowballing in that? I'm just curious, who's going to be using that stuff?
Well, they don't have gym equipment, so that would be a workout.
I'm just curious.
DPW, it will be used by DPW, but it saves them having to haul it around.
So the thing we just talked about, the senior center, we said, no, that's crazy, why would we buy a snow blower? We did already at the police station.
For a police station, we did.
Instead of them pulling up
The
like
good
they
thing is-
always do with that little truck, drive off with the truck. And
It's right there so that it's speedy access. And if someone needs to use it when DPW's not there, it's also right there for anybody to quickly access to clear a pathway or whatever. The good thing with the police station is they have a place to store it. Whereas for the senior center, unless we build some exterior shed or whatever, there will not be a place to store it. DPW will have to make sure that they continue to trailer one for use there.
And inclement weather, you may not open the senior center. PD, you don't have that option.
But we wouldn't, I don't think we would expect, and I don't think they should be doing it. No one but the DPW employees should be snowballing.
The custodian could potentially be doing it.
If he's there at midnight when it's snowing, I guess.
So,
When school is closed, the senior center is closed.
All right, so we have a motion, second, any more discussion?
did we talk about the generator and the emergency shelter
Yes.
nurses?
We're not going to line 5?
All in favor of that?
Aye.
Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Well,
Oh,
just something on the agenda, number 5, I would ask them to bring that in front of the board of selectmen, not this committee. Because that's not for this committee, so.
The motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, no, number 5. Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
Aye. Stop. I make a motion to replace the OPM. Second.
He said that it started out with not, I hadn't heard it.
I was hoping that clock hadn't been changed back, but it has.
No, I think that before our meeting.
Yeah.